So I had a strange dream last night. I don't know if it was more vivid because one of the communities I belong to have been talking about powerful dreams of late, or the fact that I know the end of July, start of September is a focus for powerful dreams. I mean, I'm not against the idea. I'm not certainly going to condemn anyone for feeling that way, but I suppose it puts the idea in your head or into your subconsciousness. I've said in previous videos I've been fortunate for a long time, although not as much of late, of when I have dreamt I've kind of been conscious or in control of my dreams. And that can lead to a lot of different sort of thoughts and processes in other people, and I'm not going to dismiss anything anyone might want to say, because that's only fair. We are all entitled to an opinion. So what I'll do first is I'll go through the dream, and to begin with, the dream featured my nan's house. I say it was my nan's house. I mean, she's been gone a while, and it's one of those things I intend to do, is to do a video in memory of her, in the same way I've done sort of my nan and granddad. But the house is such a strong resonance, I suppose, more than anything else, in my memories and influence on my life. So it seems like it was a powerful dream, that coming out of it, or sort of waking up this morning and remembering it, it was very much, I didn't feel too great about it. But I've also know that I needed time to sort of think about it and to mull over it and to go through it. So in my dream, I was showing someone around the house. While my nan was alive, it was very much a place that was, I don't know, a reflection of a previous time. But it had a lot of dark energy. It's one of those things that I loved being there, but also hated being there in many ways. There was just, there was a side alley, a very narrow alley to the side, that was built between that house and the house it joined to, that as a small child I was absolutely terrified of walking past, especially if it was night time. And sort of memories of the house, I mean, as a small child, my nan's mum was still alive, and she was an old woman, and she died in the house, and there was always a feeling of dread around her, because she lived upstairs and didn't go to see her very often, and she was just, I suppose, something of a bygone era. I mean, can't blame her, she probably died 1979, 78, 79. I mean, I got corrected by a member of my family who was more adult at the time, can remember those things differently. And she was an old lady then. So yeah, there was always a feeling of dread around the house, and I was showing someone around, and I remember talking to the person, saying how there was always this presence, that I was always going to say concerned about. I'm not going to say, I was terrified as a child. I mean, again, going back to times I would stay with my nan, or we lived there for a while, and she, being of another older generation, the living room was a place for special occasions, so we spent a lot of the time in the kitchen, and she always had her seat by the fire, and I would always sit in the seat opposite, which had its back to the kitchen door. And the kitchen door, it had this little window in it that went out into the hallway. And it was one of those long hallways that would always be dark. So I don't know. Especially when my nan would sort of, I don't know, have 40 winks as one of the things. It would be, she'd drift off. It would always increase the feeling that someone was looking in on us. And of course I had my back to the door, so it's too late to even ask her now if she ever knew that I felt that way, or worried that I would sort of, I don't know, quite often be looking over my shoulder into the doorway. And as an adult, I can look back on it and treat it with, I don't know, hopefully greater wisdom, greater understanding. But I know I'm drifting a bit. But anyway, I was showing someone around the house. And I remember, while in the process of showing them around, talking about the energies and the presence of a spirit. And I remember being in the kitchen and sort of talking about it, and seeing this young figure, I'd say a youngish boy, probably 8, 9, 10 years old, sort of walking through the kitchen and sort of through the wall, where sort of the sink was, that sort of beyond it was where the toilet would be. Now, sort of, I remember a long time ago, sort of when I was small, that the outside toilet was an outside toilet. I mean, that's sort of going back a little bit. And at some point, my nan had some conversion work done, so the toilet was no longer an outside toilet, and that the bathroom and toilet was beyond the kitchen. Which, I don't know. I don't know if there was ever the door was always in the same place, which as you went into the kitchen from the hallway, the door was immediately on your right, because you would go out into the garden, have a little walkway which ran adjacent to the alleyway, the dark alleyway, and going back to sort of the time when the toilet was outside, you had a coal scullery that you would go past, and then you'd get sort of to the garden, where there would be sort of the outhouse, and a garden that, I don't know who built it. It had sort of raised sort of garden areas, but there was never any grass, and it's kind of backed onto a sort of the seafront, South End seafront. So yeah, it was a very sharp memory seeing this vague outline of what I believe was a young boy walking through the kitchen, sort of walking through the wall to get to the toilet, I believe. I mean, I don't know what happened after that. All I remember sort of for the latter part of the dream is that the tour continued, as it were, and somehow we ended up on the roof, or what I perceived to be the roof, and then sort of it became more of a, I was witnessing what was going on, because I witnessed I would say as my death. It's just like there was something where I died, but I was not dead, and I was looking on it. And I think that's probably at that point that I switched to being conscious and sort of seeing out the dream, so that I can sort of remember it, and then obviously sort of think about it and see where those thoughts take me. So where do those thoughts take me? I mean, I don't know. Dreams can be powerful. Dreams can just be dreams. I mean, I feel now that I'm sort of thinking about it, analysing it, I feel very much that there was a version of me showing another version of me around the house, and even the ghost, I feel, I'm say it, it's very much a feeling thing. I feel that the child ghost that I saw was also me. And I don't know, it's one of those things where sort of you come to understand certain things or where you've been, and I don't know, maybe I've entered a third stage of understanding or I don't know, progression. So while I feel that the dream was quite disturbing, as I think a lot of dreams can be, and it's easy to misinterpret them. I mean, I may even be interpreting it or turning it to my best hope and ambition for the dream. I do feel that in myself I've sort of crossed some boundaries of understanding, and while there's some exercise of power I don't really like to indulge, or I don't know, even sort of doubt whether I've truly got it or not. I mean, that's not quite right. I know that we all have power. It might just be something in dreams, or I think half the battle is conviction, is self-belief, and that's how it feels. I've sort of reached a point of self-belief and have become ready to move forward. Well, I suppose there's some other things playing on my mind as well. I can't deny it. I mean, sort of not too far away before I attend my first sort of officially organised Sartre meeting for the country, attending Grimnir's Moo, and I'm a little, I don't know, there's a little bit of concern about how that's going to go, whether the people are going to be okay or not. I mean, I might be able to look on this with hindsight in a few weeks' time and go, yeah, the people were great and we had a great time. It might be the worst time of my life. I'm hoping it's not going to be. I want to be positive about it. I want to be positive, but I won't lie, it's been playing on my mind, so maybe that's another thing. It's one of those other little angles that you can look at, how sort of your subconscious prepares you for what lies ahead or what you've been dwelling on. Anyway, that's enough of a ramble, I suppose. That was my dream. That's what I think about it, and move forward and sort of look to make more content for some people to watch. Thank you very much. See you next time.